be a little bit cold. Maybe a little bit too much.
Thanks everyone for coming this morning and joining us to know more about TU7OH and also the artists behind it. So tell me about, we're in the month of July, the 7th month of the year, and it's been an interesting month, middle, right smack in the start of the second half of the year. Share a bit about like anything in this month in particular that has inspired you or something that you sort of like, whether it's a book or a movie or something that you discovered, an artist that have sort of inspired you this month, and yeah, tell us a bit more about that, if any, or anything in particular in this month that has inspired you or challenged you in any way.
I think for me, 7 to play on to the 7 theme. I think technically in December this is our 7th anniversary together as a couple, right? Oh, yeah. Technically yes. But December, so technically now we're like 6 years, 9 months, if my math is correct. Yeah, so that's 7. I think to be fair, I think for both of us, we haven't really watched anything this month.
Yeah,
we did it.
Yeah, no. I think one of the really interesting things that happened to us this month is actually how, like in conjunction of TU7OH, how everyone actually comes about and then tell us that, they actually see the elements of 7 in their life, like, like probably like 7 months ago, I realized that, this is what I want to do, or like, okay, I just started a new Instagram page and my first post got 7 likes and stuff like that. And it's interesting seeing like how everyone just trying to like tie in 7 as well. So it just feels like it's no longer just us. It's like everyone has the element of 7. Yeah.
For me, well, the theme gave me a lot of trouble. So I had a hard time relating to the number 7, I wouldn't lie. But then I realized yesterday as I was taking stock of things, I moved to Penang in 2015, decided to become a full-time artist around that time. So the time frame fits a little bit. It just suddenly struck me. I was like, whoa, I've been trying to live my dream for almost 7 years. So it was really heartening to see the response, to hear the conversations that people have, and to be part of this show with all these wonderful artists as well. So thanks everyone. Very interesting that all of you kind of naturally drawn to the theme 7 and connected that with the 7th month. And I think that's what's interesting about this as well. Like it's just, if you think about it, we're just exploring a number, right? But somehow or rather, like whether it's the human psyche, we kind of find ways to connect with 7. And as we look at the artworks, and if in case you haven't seen it yet, but you will see that you will find different connections with 7, and perhaps whatever is presented that has nothing to do with 7 and you somehow picked it up as well. That's what's going to be interesting, and do share that later on as you explore it, and anything stands out to you. So yeah, tell us a bit more about what I suppose your reaction was, and what was your immediate sort of response to to the idea of 7.
7 is a very tough number. Okay, because usually I always created a very large piece, 16 pieces for my wall pieces. For this particular 7, it took me a while to think what else I'm going to produce. 7 scenes, 7 attitude, 7 politicians. So I have to look again throughout my sketches, and I come up with the idea of pyramid story. There's a lot of pyramid story got hidden marks as relevant in our political landscape. So from there, I started to write and sketch, and then it took me a few months to produce, because sometimes I don't do only one work, but I produce a theatre performance. So I have to stop here and I have to move somewhere else. And again, making a comic wall piece it's like I'm a director, so all my character is like an actor. So I have to come up with a dialogue, with some of the research and write up. Yeah, I guess whatever that you see is seven of my work. It's a process. It's still ongoing. Right? So the title of this book is Mula Semula, Restart Again.
Okay, I think like because we are both like a couple, we're husband and wife, but we also work together. So the process of working for TU7OH, I mean, anybody here who's married, married or like a long-term relationship with your partner, and you know that always that time where you want to go for dinner or lunch, and then you ask the other person, hey, what you want to eat? And the other person say, I don't know. And then you say, okay, well, how about something? And they say, they don't want. You ask them, you tell them, okay, what about that? They don't want, and you keep. So that's kind of how the process it is with working. Same thing, like art.
For 2 years.
Yeah, for 2 years, right? Yeah, 3 years, 3 years actually. Yeah, actually, yeah. So that's kind of how it is, right? Like, you want to do something, nah. Oh, that, nah. So that kind of. But at least for me, I think the idea really came because we're both we have like different styles, and always when you're working together, like different styles sometimes it don't match, right? You try to make them work, like it doesn't work. It's like like putting mayonnaise on ice cream, like it doesn't work. I don't like mayonnaise, by the way, so I use that analogy. And as a husband and wife as well, like sometimes you don't want to get too personal about it, because when you argue with your wife, chances are like 100% of the time the husband will lose, and then I'll end up sleeping on the couch. I don't really like sleeping on the couch because I'm not very comfortable. And I think we kind of have a common ground. We try to say, okay, what can we do? Looking back at our own past body of work, like what resonates well with people, and I think a lot of that came from like feedback from friends, feedback from Ivan, our amazing curator, and like family as well. Like they noticed certain styles that kind of resonate well, and we noticed that style actually works better in our favor as well, because we try to have like a 50-50 partnership. Like, okay, we both do it together, like in terms of like hands-on. So this new series Soma is definitely a new thing for us. Like we're trying out like foreign materials, like a different working style, and we're hoping that this would actually push us forward better as both like partners and also individual artists.
Thank you. So let's go into the artworks, like you mentioned, and then we can continue with either Cindy or Benjamin. Like you mentioned that this has somehow, and also through our conversations before, you mentioned how this brought your working relationship together as white bones to a different level, and I think that's not easy, because like you mentioned, both of you have different strengths, different perspectives, and somehow already have to work together and make sure that it weaves together, And you mentioned how has this process sort of strengthened that relationship, and how would that then weave into your future works, you think, from here?
Actually, I think for TU7OH, the brief was given to us in 2019, right? Yeah. So I think for the whole duration of 3 years, we went through a lot of changes in ideas, what we like, and it has brought us further. Actually, it separates us more, because when you do that, you step back, you start to see, like a clearer picture. Okay, what is the current situation? Sometimes people are always trying to tie together. Oh, we'll definitely work well together. That doesn't happen in real life. Okay, and one thing we learned is that you have to embrace the differences. It's the differences that makes it unique, right? Like I always tell Ben, and always tell some of our friends as well, no two people are the same, but there's always definitely one common ground. Like it could be we went to the same place, we traveled to the same country, we like the same food, or we are afraid of something, and we use that as a common ground to move forward, in our artwork. And with Soma, our series, it's a very new work for us, a very new area of exploration as well. And somehow we felt that everyone has been through a lot. I'm very sure for all the TU7OH artists and everyone else as well. And Soma has been like a therapy for us. we really enjoy working on it because somehow it is the first series that we just jump in and like we both know what we are doing and there's no like disagreement or anything, and it just works well. So when you cultivate that working relationship for so long, and you know, thankfully one day you just have that aha moment and you know where you are at.
I'm not sure if it's Tujo in particular or this is part of the question, like is this an artist approach to different exhibitions to challenge your techniques, to experiment something new? Because this one in particular, I noticed that all of you, not just the artists here today, but all 7 artists are challenging their mediums in different ways. They're either exploring a new medium that they've not done before, or connecting the current medium that or techniques that they've always been doing, but pushing it sort of like a step further. And I want to let's understand that a little bit more. And Winnie, you started touching on that a little bit. You used a different pen and how that has challenged you. So were there any challenges along that way? And also like let's go technical a little bit to talk a bit more about the techniques that you use and how that has grown from your practice before to the current state of that it is now.
Okay, maybe I can share a bit. So I had a major change in my life. During the MCO, I started working full-time again. So I had to let go of the idea of being a full-time artist. And somehow that helped me a lot because I think I'm a person who needs a certain structure. So working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 actually worked out better for my art instead of the other way around. It made me focus, and it also gave me 2 years away from my art to start again. So to wipe the slate clean, so to say. In terms of technique, I also focus more on, look deeper on what I'm doing, which is paper cutting as well. I'd like to combine all these different mediums, but I've just sort of pushed them together and never really looked at how they played off each other. Why drawing, why paper cutting? So I look more into traditional Chinese paper cutting. If you see my pieces, there is a certain reflection in it, and that's because I changed the way I compose my work. There is no longer flat. So I folded the paper 4 times. It's a very simple technique, but it yields a certain visual result that I wasn't expecting, and that I'm quite happy with because it allows me to play the narrative off each other within the same page instead of side by side. Before I was doing that, I'll make one piece, another piece, and then the narrative plays off each other. Now I can do it in the same piece. It's either cyclical or it branches out, so there's a lot to explore. And technical wise, nothing else really changed besides that. I sort of put painting aside, but I mean, I still want to continue my other mediums like wooden cutouts or more of the diorama, like multiple layered paper cutouts as well. But I am a lot more careful about, I used to try to put everything into one piece and it's so condensed, and then I realized that it's too much to take in. So this is actually a very stripped down version of what I used to make, and yeah, I'm quite happy with it.
Let's talk a bit about that. Is there anything in particular that you've learned from the different artists in this show? Not only the artists present here today, but like the other 4 artists as well. Any particular series or piece that connected with you, or something that like gave you an aha moment, or anything that you've learned from there? Understanding the exchanges between the different artists in the show.
For the past 2 years, during lockdown, I think everyone have a struggle moment. I lost few friends. I lost my brother and my sister. To have that, it took me a while, not to use it. And I produced most of my abstract work, not the wall piece, that contribute my loss. I would say this a new family, all the 7 artists and ERYN and the rest of my artist friends. We had a Christmas gathering. Have a Christmas gathering so that it put me into one video. Last time I have broken together with these awesome people. And from there, all my sadness, my loss, I just produce as a memory, not experience. Just to put myself together with these two people. Past is past. So having my world piece, I guess, is just a new chapter. And again, it's not related with my loss. This is about all the political landscape.
I think pretty similar to actually similar to Winnie's and Maizul experience, a combination of inspiration from other artists and also personal experiences. So like I follow a lot of like different content creators, and it's the dialogues, the things that they go through, the experiences is what inspired me to like conceptualize Tujuh artwork with Ben. And I think on a personal note, what actually inspired me to just keep creating, like for White Bones is the way I look at my family. I actually came from a very traditional family, and they are always like, like you study, you grow up, you get married, have kids, that's it, that's your life, But now my parents, they are older. My dad is a retired musician, and then he kept saying that, oh, I want a recording studio, I want to do this, I should have done that, and it's the should have part that scares me. And yeah, even though like we have day jobs, and like all these amazing artists have day jobs, and they can still dabble in art so much better than I do, like they can juggle it so much better than I do. So that's the thought that scares me, like if I don't do it now, like when will I do it? Because we kept thinking that, oh, we will live till like you're 50 or 60, but what happens if, like I don't get through tomorrow, right? So it's like living and creating art, like so that you don't have any regrets in life. Just get it out there. Yeah.
Alright, thanks. Thank you so much everyone for sharing. What's next? Like what are you gonna explore after this, and how does that then, I suppose, shape your practice, do you think?
Maybe future plans for this Soma series. I suppose like definitely, you want to make it better, try out new things. Yeah, it's kind of like an action movie, right? Like if everyone here watches like the new Marvel, Star Wars and whatnot, like oh, the first one comes out, it's good. The second one comes out, like I wouldn't say it's better in terms of like storyline, but it's better in terms of like, more budget, more cast, it's more colorful, it's more explosions, there's more guns and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I want to do it. It's like Soma 1, then Soma 2 is going to come out, and it's gonna Soma even harder. That sort of thing. Like just like I'm just going to keep making it better, I suppose. And just working on like some personal projects. I think maybe for me personally, I might not be that great of an artist to like focus on solos yet. So I don't think I have that in mind yet for a solo, but I'm definitely pushing for like Soma, like different materials, investing in like different materials and different equipment as well to be able to produce it in like in a grander scale. Because I think like we wanted to do Soma initially was as an installation piece actually. But just that logistics didn't really kind of work out at the time. So we might want to actually push that further as an installation. So look out for Soma 2 coming out next summer, Soma Harder.
But yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Winnie, Maizul, Cindy, and Benjamin. Thank you so much. And thank you all of you as well for sitting through the conversation.